Hey guys, welcome. It's the second semifinal match in the Pokemon Perfect 2020 ADV Championship. If you guys are here, you should have already watched the first semifinal match. You guys should be watching all my videos, obviously, not just picking and choosing. But that was between Linear and Asta. Great set, went to 3. Linear came out on top, so he's going to be awaiting the winner here, which is Kael on this alt that I have throughout the tournament not been able to pronounce, so I'm not even going to try, just whatever this is on the bottom, and Bushtush on the top. The winner here, like I said, is going to be in the finals, directly playing for $100 against Linear, but they've got to beat the other guy here first. So here we are, some top 4 action between Kael and Bushtush, both of whom of note were in the Kalis Invitational 4 play-ins this year, but neither one did make the main event. So, Kael on the bottom, he's got a Spiker lead, which he's very fond of, as in general. Sometimes it's Scarm, sometimes it's Cloyster, but he's a big fan of this strategy, and he does, in fact, immediately establish spikes with no punishment, because the Fire Blast from the lead T-Tower for Bush on the top simply missed. Here's some scouting for Kael with a double switch. Identifies, yes, it does have HP Grass. There's the Protect. Fire Blast would have missed anyway, but so far so good for Kael. Not a lot of damage on stuff, and he has established 2 layers of spikes. Finally gets caught by a Fire Blast, which obviously clips him, and Bushtush this whole time has had a Magneton, so he's had a lot of discipline to not do that. I guess initially maybe he was afraid that it's a YOLO Scarm, but it's very clear at this point that it is not. And Mag will take it out, but 2 layers got down, and it's going to be a trade, so it's just a strictly advantageous position for Kael. The question is, does Bushtush have a rapid spinner in the back? And that's looking almost certainly like a no. We have a clearly offensive team here with a Charizard, and it's subbing up immediately on Pert. Has HP Grass, as many of them do. Oh man, Ice Beam neutral damage doesn't even pop the sub. That is real bad for Kael. Hidden Power there goes a whiff on Bliss, but a lot of the time these guys have Focus Punch, which, yep, it does here as well. Now the Seismic Toss breaks the sub, but we're seeing the consequence of the sub not being broken by that Ice Beam there. Gonna cost Bliss a ton of damage with that Focus Punch. And Charizard at this point is going to sub down to Pataya Berry range, which between that and Blaze, Blissey is in danger and would die to a Fire Blast here. T-Tar comes in, gets cooked by it for 59%, 0 chance of surviving another. Here's Fortress, that obviously isn't going to survive Fire Blast anyway, never mind with the Pataya Berry and the Blaze. And that's 2 kills for the Charizard, or I guess 1, but severe damage on some other things. And Charizard gets out of the way, it stays as fodder. So now T-Tar comes in, and the reason that Bushtush did that is he wanted to sneak it in on what he thought would be a Protect turn. He viewed it as a free switch, so I do think that was a good play for Bushtush. It just didn't work out. But it's still going to be fine. I mean, he kills the T-Tower when they go back and forth blow for blow. Yes, Dougie gets revenge, but it's going to lead Bushtush with the lead. He's got the 4-3 advantage, and he goes Scizor here. What is this team for Bushtush? Busting out the weird Mons. He's got at least 2 BL pokes here. He's going to Swords Dance up, and he's going to go Hidden Power. That is not HP Bug. He must have Silver Wind here. Is that HP Steel that he was going for? I don't know what he's doing. It's a Curse Pert on the other side for Kael. So this is a weird matchup to be seeing in 2020, almost 2021 competitive ADV. We've got an outdated Curse Pert against the basically never seen Scizor. A Scizor that evidently does not have Silver Wind. The best thing he's got. Maybe this is an Endure reversal set is what we're looking at. There we go. That's what's happening here. But it's not the right time for the Endure. He tries to get himself caught. It doesn't happen. It's just a curse on the other side. And now it's going to be an Earthquake for the kill. So Bushtush does not get his timing right with that prediction. And it's going to be a 3-3 against a very boosted Swampert, who nevertheless is afraid here and gets out of the way. But this 3-3 situation, remember, is basically a 3-2 situation, because this Charizard will simply die the next time it comes in to the sand. It's at 2% right now and does not have lefties. Not that it would matter, because sand happens before lefties. But the Curse Pert here, unless Celebi has a Grass attack, which it may or may not, but if the Celebi for whatever reason doesn't have a Grass attack, the Curse Pert here is a major issue It's against what looks to be a mono pert on the other side. Toxic Surf is always seen, but it totally could be, for example, Protect and Roar or Protect and Refresh as the last two moves. This set is utterly donked by the Curse Pert. Toxic Surf will never get through it. This kind of, Curse Pert I don't think is a great mon in today's ADV, but it seems like just what the doctor ordered for this matchup. Very difficult for Bushtush. It just comes down to whether or not Celebi has a grass attack. Charizard's a non-factor. It's going to die. The Swampert can never break the Curse Pert. So it just comes down to the Celebi. It really is as simple as that, and it's even a little bit more complicated than that because Bushtush cannot get his Celebi eaten by the Dugtrio. Bushtush does not want to lose 1v1 against the Bliss, which we don't actually know if the Blissey has Toxic or Ice Beam or whatever, but it's totally possible that the Blissey can do some work on the Celebi. Bushtush has to be very careful. Here is the Celebi coming in. And I think you just have to go straight for a grass attack here. I mean, you've got to be worried about the Dugtrio. If he's got it, you just have to go for it, I think. But he baton passes out. I don't know where he thinks it's going. I mean, unless it's not a monopert, unless he's got a surprise focus punch or an earthquake here, but I don't think he does. Yeah, his plan there was to go Surf into Bliss. That was not going to kill her. Hell, I don't even know if a critical hit would have killed her. But what happens a lot of the time in that scenario is that Surf happens and Blissey just goes soft-boiled, and I think we're basically done here. We again have the Celebi. Maybe what Bushtush is doing, maybe this is his only hope. Oh, just kidding. He's going to concede. I was going to say maybe Bush is really trying to convince Kael that the Celebi doesn't have a grass attack. Maybe he's repeatedly trying to switch out of it and just make it clear as day, dude, I don't have it, dude, I don't have it, because he knows the only way that he's going to win is if he convinces Kael that he doesn't have it, and then later he does have it and he catches the pert with it. But evidently it's not a bluff. Bushtush going to concede. Evidently he just flat out actually doesn't have it and has no way to break through this curse pert. So he's going to concede, and Kael is going to take game one. And if Kael manages to win game two or a theoretical game three, which would knock out Bushtush, he will have himself a date with the linear curve in the finals for the cash money. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's game two. You guys just saw Kael on whatever alt this is win game one. Can he win the second game? And he again is going to lead a spiker. He loves doing this. He does it so often. It is Cloyster. There's the spikes. Here's Bliss. Doesn't want to get too behind with the Coon. If it boosts too many times, it just might not be manageable at all. We'll see what he's got as a solution here. It's a very bulky Coon. We see the tosses here do 24%, so we're looking at a good old 404 HP Coon. And especially with no sand going on right now, these tosses are very underwhelming, and the Coon is having no issue setting up. It's already got 4 Calm Mind boosts on turn 5. That's pretty dangerous. And he's going to rest prematurely just to maybe throw off the timing of whatever switch Kael might have had in mind there. Whether or not it has Sleep Talk, we don't know. He does, and he finds Calm Mind here. Misdreavus coming in for Kael. This might be the exact same team that he used against a Hero's Destiny, and good thing Kael did not try to get cute there. Surf came down there and the sleep, and it would have nailed the Misdreavus. However, we're looking at a Vaporeon here that the Rest Talk Coon, despite all those boosts, he was at +6/+6, cannot touch it. Vaporeon with the Water Absorb is going to scare off the super duper boosted Coon, and Bushtush, for all the momentum that he gained, has to get out of the way. Like I said, this looks like the exact same team that Kael used against the Hero's Destiny, but I do not hate him using it again because he only showed like 2 or 3 pokes in that entire game. It was like a 12 or 13 or whatever turn it was game, and AHD forfeited really early, so like we don't actually know what the rest of the team is. We didn't even see the Vaporeon before, never mind whatever these last two are. But yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kael seems to like this team, and here he is trying it again. It worked then. Will it work now? Here's Dugtrio. There's Mean Look. That could be a dead Dugtrio. Rock Slide there on the Perish Song turn. Fair enough. We're going to see a Protect, certainly. The question is it last move Rest, or are we looking at a double Protect here? Rock Slide, he did not go double Protect, so yes, he's going to go for Rest, and indeed he has it. Full set, Mean Look, Perish Song, Protect, Rest, really cheesy and lame, But this is competitive Mons. Anything that's legal, anything that gives you a chance to win, you use. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's going to net himself, even though it's a cheesy kill, it's a kill. And Kael takes the lead 6-5. There is Psychic with a Specs drop. Heelbell going to wake up the Mystery Bus and whatever other status problems. I think that was the only one. What is this team for Kael? He's got the UU Mystery Bus, the UU Altina. These aren't even BLs. These are UUs. And then he's got the Vaporeon and the Steelix. I don't know if Vaporeon, I don't remember if he's technically considered OU or BL these days. But in my mind, Vaporeon is BL, and Steelix I know is BL. So this is just hell. I mean, even Cloyster, I think he's OU still, but even Cloyster in my mind is either like the worst OU, the bottom end OU, or it's a BL itself. Either way, even if we're calling Cloyster an OU, this is a real weird team from Kael with the UU Mischievous, UU Altaria that we never see in competitive play, and a Steelix here. This is a very, not only creative, but very, very, very dedicated stall team for Kael. This team does one thing and one thing only, and it is hard stall. It is not the Kuhn, Dusclops, Claydol stall of old. It's not a pressure stall, but make no mistake, this is very, very hard stall for Kael. And it looks pretty good. I think Kael found himself a good matchup again. I think that Bushtush has a passive team as the Magdoll archetype is, and I think Bushtush actually has very few ways to actually win. The Celebi, the Mag, and the Claydol are all passive Mons that are not win conditions. In this case, I mean, it is a Combine Celebi, so it can boost. But the Blissey, and to a lesser extent the Steelix, but mostly the Blissey, can deal with it without issue. And of course, the Dugtrio is not there to beat the Blissey, so that's going to be a problem. The Kuhn, which is normally a win condition, is just indefinitely walled by this Vaporeon, which again is just a tough matchup break for Bushtush. And basically, that leaves this Lax to win the game. And it could. And I think for Bushtush, it's going to need to. I think that's basically his only real win condition. We do not know yet if it has Earthquake or Shadow Ball. If it has Earthquake and Rest as the last two moves, then it can't touch the Mystery Bus at all. Because there's no Pursuit user, I think it probably is a Shadow Ball variant, but we haven't actually seen that. But even then, the Lax is going to have a hard time. The Mystery Vest can come in on rest turns and force it out with Perish Song. If we go down to Last Poke Lax, then it will simply lose to Perish Song. This matchup more so than it may appear on paper. If you guys like actually sit and really look at it, really analyze this matchup actually seems like a complete disaster for Bushtush. And I mean, who can blame him? I mean, this is not a real matchup. This is like a real archetype, which in and of itself is very matchup fishy. Magdoll is not an archetype that I like in 2020 and is just very, very matchup dependent. But I don't know what Kael's team is. Who could have ever anticipated this? Just this UU ridden hard stall Frankenstein monster. I mean it's winning. I think Kael's going to not only win this game, but win this game handily. But you really can't blame Bush for not scouting properly or not anticipating the team properly. I mean, this is just an anomaly for Kael, but it's working. It's working very, very handily. And Bushtush not only is getting clobbered, but you guys can't see it on the side, but he's down to 10 seconds on his timer as well. He's trying. He doesn't want to concede, and I don't blame him, but there's just no way out. I mean, normally one of the strengths of the Magdoll archetype is that even when you're behind, even back against the wall, a lot of the time, Last Poke Coon or Last Poke Lax can still just bail you out of it and make the comeback. But we know that in this game, there's just no chance of that happening. We know that Mystery Vest has Perish Song. Perish Song is just one of, if not the best moves you can have against a Last Poke. And the Lax can be as boosted as it wants to be, but the Perish Song is going to kill it when the timer goes down, regardless of how many boosts it has, how hard it hits, any of that. You can just Protect stall it, and presumably, I mean, the Vaporeon with the Wish probably has Protect as well. And there's just not a lot that Bush can do. He's going to explode here, but he's running into that problem where last poke anything, whether it's the Celebi or the Lax, it just doesn't matter. It'll get Perish Song down. The Altaria, we have not seen the last move, but it might be Rest, honestly. That actually makes a lot of sense. Heal Bell, Toxic Protect. The thing with Altaria is that it pulls off the Natural Cure plus Rest combo. So it rests and then it switches out, and in doing so, it goes back to full health, no status, and it's just good to go the next time that it comes in. It's a really strong combo. The issues with Altaria lie elsewhere, in that basically everything that it does other than that niche, it is outclassed by something else, and that some of its stats are mediocre. But Altaria does have that cool little perk in that it can natural rest. Now, granted, so can you anything with natural cure. I mean, Celebi or Blissey or whatever, you can natural rest with other things, but it just makes the most sense on something like Altaria. When you have access to just flat out recover or soft boiled, those are generally just better moves than rest. Here's the Altaria, Leech Seed, and I think that's it. I don't know if Bushtush is just resigned to defeat or if he forgot about the Perish, or if he's planning on hitting the Mystery Vest with like an immediate crit on the way in, but it's not even going to work because Mystery Vest is just going to come in when something dies, and then it's going to outspeed the Lax, and it's going to click Perish Song, and there's just going to be nothing Bushtush can do. I say this a lot of the time when I watch guys in tournaments that I'm hosting in hopeless situations, that I absolutely appreciate that Bushtush is not conceding, but I mean, it's just over. And that makes it really over. I don't like this play from Kael. I think that he was trying to throw. I think going to the Mystery Bus on anything other than something dying is absolutely a mistake. It gives Bushtush the opportunity to get the critical hit there and potentially actually win with this stupid thing. But Kael, I think, was getting impatient and just wanted to speed it up, which, I mean, fair enough, I guess. It is a mistake. It is a window. It gives Bushtush a chance. But he had the one turn opportunity to find the crit. He didn't find it, and the Perish Song got off, and the second that happened, the game was over. And indeed, this was a one-sided affair. Kael is going to be the 2-0 winner in the series and the 5-0 winner in this game. Like I said, one-sided beatdown in this one. And he's going to earn himself a date with the linear curve in the finals for the $100 first prize and the trophy. Yeah. I would advise Kael to not use this team again against linear. Not that I think it's bad at all. It's got its niche. It's going to have some matchups like this one where it's really, really good and you basically win in the builder. And I love the creativity, so like I want to specify I'm not shitting on the team. The reason I wouldn't use it again is because this is the kind of the team that it gets a lot worse once the novelty, once the surprise value is gone. You're going to catch people off guard with this. You're going to win tournament games with this. This is totally the kind of thing you bring off as a one-off in exactly this kind of situation or an SPL or whatever, and you randomly get there because you find yourself in a good matchup. But I would not, now that it's known, now that it's shown, now that Linear is obviously going to watch this game and know the mons and know the sets, I would not try this again. But we'll see if he sees it a different way. Kael has been plowing through opponents, 2-0 victories in both of his most recent series. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It seems to be working. Let's see what kind of fight he can put up against the best ADV player in the world. You'll see that on YouTube when it happens, but until then, thank you for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. See you guys later.